why the opposition party they fear Labour Party? Una say make they go courts. They say okay, then they go. Okay, now they don't reach courts now. Fear they catch you now. Then the next thing, they bring evidence. They bring audio come out. That one not make sense. Now they bring things come out. It not make sense. Now I can't see everything they detain Obi for UK airports. Which UK they detain person for airport? They bring and come out for news. My people, oh God, you see all this trick they do so. To just make Labour Party become like say make people all they obey them, make they run. They don't fail because all their plan that they do and they open their hands to. I be wanna listen.
What are the issues? Is Peter Obi, the candidate of your party during the presidential election, being hounded by the federal government of Nigeria? And could you tell us in precise terms what actually happened to him at the London airport when he was interrogated and, as we heard, when he was detained? Is he out now? Is he back in Nigeria? And what was his offense?
Shed any light, as far as we know, those questions you should be asking the Nigerian government that question. They're the ones that have the answers to why his international passport, if at all, could have been cloned. They're the ones that have the information and the national identity card processing that even happened. So who has access to our database in our passport offices, in the national database? Who has access, if not the Nigerian government? Because it's very strange to Nigerians to wake up in the morning and hear that His Excellency Peter Obi's identity has been cloned. So that is, what word, for lack of a better word, that is a huge omission on our security. Who is able to breach Nigeria's security in such a manner? Those are the questions that we are asking, because like you pointed out in your introduction, it's seemingly as if at every point in time everything is being thrown at us, including the kitchen sink, and we're wondering why. Just because we have come on board as a force to reckon with, just because we have come on board and we have come to change the political discourse in Nigeria, just because we have come on board, we ask questions. You say we should go to court, we are in court. I don't understand why we are being hounded on a daily basis. I don't understand why it would seem as if the government and the spokespersons that even represent this party, the APC, just seem to think it's okay. You know, their spokespersons come out and all they do is ram, hit, throw everything that they have, and most of the things that they say are quite preposterous when you look at it. When you listen to, even on Arise recently, I talked about Mr. Festus Keyamo and his utterances and how they've been asking for our arrest. Nigeria is a country governed by law. We have rules that govern us. If anybody has breached those rules, then they in themselves can also go to court. Why not toe the line of restraint the same way our presidential candidate has done? Why not toe that line?
I knew it. Well, all right. So Peter Obi has denied rumors or even media speculations that he was issued a letter of apology by the British government in connection with his detention at Heathrow. Now, where do you think those rumors emanated from? And what is Mr. Peter Obi's stance right now as it is regards to receiving a letter of apology over the detention incident, or has he moved on from it? Secondly, there was a fake picture that was shared by members of the opposition showing the chairman of Nigerians in the diaspora, Abike Dabiri, superimposed with Peter Obi. You know, she appeared to be, you know, liaising with an immigration officer. Now, how would you describe that scenario?
I describe it as I wonder if APC, the APC understand how important whatever role it is that they believe they're supposed to be taking on. You know, I don't think they've fully understood the import of what it is that they're supposed to do. Why not celebrate your selective win if you would like to? You know, that's how I see it. Why not celebrate those wins? Why are you attacking? And I'm very glad that you mentioned a superimposed meme that kept going on around those photos of Abike Dabiri with Peter Obi. Why go so far to tell lies and foment trouble when there is none? Foment trouble with people who aren't making trouble with you. What we are just doing is we're asking questions that we refuse to forget. And they've done everything but show us in its entirety. They've done everything but show us sincerely that they really do want to bring in a government of national unity. Everything that they've done, the utterances of their, Mr. Ononuga very recently referred to the obedience as sons of blankety blank blank. And that was quite traumatic, because you would expect somebody in his early 60s to behave better, to do better. You see, very recently, Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, running to Washington to go and call for the arrest of Dr. Yusuf Deti Baba Ahmed, for the arrest of Peter Obi. And I'm wondering, why are they always so ill-advised? Why go to, let me tell you a story. Recently, I listened to Chief Emeka Anyoku at a lecture in Lagos. And I was one thing I took away from the thing he said was that he was now being given an appointment, and he had to meet with the president of the time, late President Shehu Shagari. And he said that the president said to him, I hope, I know that you have been always speaking against my government, and and he said, let him take a leaf from Winston Churchill, where he said, Winston Churchill said, every time he was abroad, away from home, he would always, restrain himself from speaking against his home government. He would not speak against the British government in any form or fashion. But every time he came back home and he was on British soil, he would now, make up for lost time. That's how a government should be run. How do you start running to the UK, to America, to go and start asking for the arrest, and that's where you give. As the Minister of Information, I do expect such a man in such a position to sit down and talk with the Nigerian people. The time he used to get on a plane could have been used judiciously in Nigeria, on home soil, to speak to Nigerians, to say to Nigerians what it is they have to offer Nigerians as the Minister of Information, not to just go around and be. You claim somebody's being insightful, and you turn around and do exactly the same thing you accuse another person of.
But has Mr. Peter Obi moved on from that particular incident? Do you think that he's still expecting an apology letter?
Mr. Peter Obi is not somebody that holds grudges. He's been, even throughout the elections, he's been a very, very, very civil individual in speech, in action, in the ways that he does his own things. If I know Peter Obi very well, His Excellency Peter Obi, I want to believe that he has moved on from it. If there's anything to be held against, he's the sort of person that, he obeys the rule of law. And we always say that with a lot of pride. He's not a vindictive character in any shape or form. There's no rhyme or reason why, if the British authorities have good reason to have wanted to check his passport because somebody was cloning it or somebody had cloned it, I doubt if there'll be no reason why he won't move on from such an unfortunate incident. He's a great man. He's a good man. But we do know that these factions that are coming in have been sponsored by our detractors. and we will not be distracted. We will not be distracted.
All right, Ajay Nana. Without prejudice to the petition of the Labour Party and Mr. Peter Obi to the tribunal, the Premium Times is reporting that with information that they now have access to from the INEX portal, that Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, your candidate, won the Rivers State presidential election and not the president-elect, the candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, who was declared. Now there's a caveat from that report by Premium Times saying that even if that is upheld, it may not necessarily mean or translate to victory overall for Mr. Peter Obi. But I think that if that happens to be the case eventually, it means that Mr. Peter Obi will have won 12 states, including Abuja, and then Atiku of the PDP will retain his 12, and Bola Tinubu of APC will drop to 11 states, even though he has been declared as the winner. Without prejudice to the petition, what do you make of this report from Premium Times, which is, you know, an important online newspaper, and how do you think it might navigate the legal works that will happen in the next few weeks when you now begin to defend the petition at the tribunal? Frankly,
I agree that because we do know that states like Rivers State and many other states, we could see mutilations, we could see the results, cancellations manually done. And that's one of the reasons why we also say that this was flawed, and we do have our proof, which we will present in court. I do not want to speak too much on these proceedings, and we would let the courts decide.
This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.